You know, like I always say, I will not hesitate to give credit where it is due. There are so many anime that come out all year long that deserve praise and sometimes don't get that level of recognition it deserves. Shows like Boogie Pop and even Bungo Stray Dogs being some choices that I wish got some more conversation, but at least Oshinoko dodged that issue entirely come its debut. However, today, we are not here to talk about other anime, but instead we are talking about One Piece. One Piece is the anime that I feel embodies the idea of animation withstanding the test of time. Regardless of how many years and arcs that have come to pass, the series has managed to produce a continuous weekly format of content. Of course, with the pacing being the main thing caught in the crossfire for this long-term production, it still manages to produce episodes that can go absolutely crazy. From some of the most iconic losses to one-on-one brawls, what has been accomplished by Toei and the One Piece staff is not to be taken for granted. The weekly format is not for the faint of heart, as the cracks will more than show themselves if not covered appropriately, but One Piece has practically evaded the long-term worry. From Marineford all the way to Whole Cake Island, the anime has been evolving in order to not only match the times, but to show just how much higher the presentation can be elevated. As entertaining as the "can we get much higher" meme for the series was, I did have to ask myself, just how much higher exactly can One Piece raise the bar for itself? You think you've seen the limits the show can reach, and then you arrived at the Wano arc. Wano is one of the biggest and most epic arcs for the entirety of One Piece, only second to Marineford. From Zou and Punk Hazard to everything in Dressrosa, every single development has led to the new generation and the Yonkos clashing for the fate of Wano. With things coming to a head in such a spectacular way, there was obviously the perfect opportunity to level up the anime once more. I remember watching the episode that kicked off Wano, and it felt like the art style began changing already, and this change is arguably one of the best ones yet, given the amount of spectacles that have come from it. I'm sure many people thought of Dragon Ball Super Broly, given the art style of that movie was translated into a format that One Piece can work with, and that's not the only thing that was brought to the table. Controversial as they are, auras to display one's own hockey intensity and matching color scheme based on the character or form also really helps Wano's fights pop off visually. Being honest, I really do not know what a certain majority of One Piece fans have against auras, but I am not getting into that today because I've seen how you guys argue about it on Twitter, and it is absolutely insane. One of the best aspects I think has come from Wano is this very immersive approach to presentations away from the fights. Wano is an arc that has many stories to tell, and that's what makes the stakes so much more important for those who choose to fight. From the backstory of Odin and his journey with Roger and Whitebeard to the Akazaya 9, and even the journeys of people like Yasui and Hiyori, Wano has plenty of stories within this giant epic story, and it makes this arc feel so important for the people who pass their batons to the next generation. It's already enough that the story has managed to get us invested into this arc solely because of the build-up, but adding the extra layer of getting us invested into these characters is what builds the emotional connection to the people of Wano. You hated to see Odin lose his life, you hated to see a mother having to separate from her children and retainers, and most of all, you are more than ready to see this revenge story reach the biggest moments of the arc. While the build up to the raid was a slow yet consistent beat narrative-wise, it didn't come without some of the One Piece's staff longest streaks of flexing yet. The amount of fights that took place leading up to the raid had some of the most epic animation and behind-the-scenes teamwork, and it was happening almost every other week. From everything Zoro and Luffy to Sanji getting some shine to almost every fight within the Odin flashback, not a single person of talent was wasted in producing amazing fights that makes you question how in the world was this weekly. Majority of the anime that airs in a season wish they could look this good all the time, and yet Toei has been able to ride a ship of success when it comes to maintaining this level of quality. Just simply hearing a name of an animator would give people something to look forward to, because that's just how great the track record was. Animators like Shida or Ota, which I especially took fond of from World Trigger, are just two out of the dozens of names that have contributed to making Wano great. Fights aside, there are still plenty of episodes themselves that have incredible direction and approach. 957 being one of my favorites, as a singular episode away from Wano managed to get me excited for what's to come beyond as the warlord system has been abolished. Then you have presentations like episode 982, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared the world for 1015. Megumi Ishitani is a name that I'm sure a majority of people have heard by now just from the sheer amount of anticipation for their presence on an episode. Their work has contributed to making the year of One Piece come more alive than ever. It's hard to deny that episode 1015 of One Piece might just be the best looking episode in the anime medium, to the point where I'd say I'm jealous that it's not from my own favorite series. Ishitani's capabilities embrace the very world of One Piece in so many ways that I caught myself dumbfounded the entire episode. Being able to make an entire 24-minute episode look look that good is not easy, but with the right team, the impossible becomes reality. Episode 1015 is a night I will never forget because the anime community definitely exploded in a way where I have not seen since Demon Slayer's episode 19 with the Hinokami Kagura. From there, you had to wonder, has One Piece finally set the highest bar and reached a peak for a while? And in a nutshell, the answer was no. The episodes right after 1015 brought about some of the craziest and consistent action cuts One Piece could offer. From the rising star Chancellor Vincent to the juggernaut Henry Thurlow, the bar just kept getting higher and higher. It got to the point where I was beyond dumbfounded, but I also understood how this keeps coming to fruition. One of the biggest contributing factors that I've learned about One Piece's production is that they allow talent to pitch in where they want to, and with that comes great things. At the core of animation is the concept of creativity, and adding constraints can greatly harm the final product of a scene. Yet with One Piece, they don't really have that issue. Talent goes where it feels it wants to be, and with the pacing allowing more time before certain moments alongside a very strong team behind it, a lot of these cuts are able to be produced with a magnificent result. I mean, some of these cuts are able to create a character silhouette with an aura or a younger version of themselves within the burst of animation, and if you are able to go back and slow it down, it makes you wonder how is something like this even possible. In the 14 years of me watching anime, I have never seen something like this done on a weekly schedule, and it sets a precedent that perhaps many studios can learn from. It feels like Toei as a company greatly respects One Piece as an anime, and because of that, they are able to meet the team halfway with their needs in order to put out a consistent product. From all sorts of promotions to generate the hype, and even recently contracting some of the most god-tier talent to exclusively work on One Piece, they are not withholding anything to ensure the results are not held back by a lack thereof. Just recently, we had the climatic showdowns with the wings of the Pirate King defeating the last of the lead performers, with Sanji kicking the life out of Queen and Zoro cutting off the wings of the king. Just for the sake of spice in the comment section, Zoro episode clears. I say this to say though that even after 1015, even after all of the stuff happening on the rooftop, and you think that One Piece can truly not get much higher, it does so, and it has no intention of slowing down. The One Piece anime literally will not stop ascending and transcending the idea of what it means to be a passion project. Even though you could boil all this down to the fact that One Piece is like Japan's anime baby, so naturally it will be one of the biggest efforts being put towards it, it's impossible to take away the hard work these animators put in all year long. By the time of this video, we are only weeks away from the Gear 5 debut, and I have a feeling that episode alone is going to make 1015 look like child's play in comparison. Gear 5 has had a lot of misinformation come from the speculation about who's working on what, but the one thing I do believe is that the episode has been in the works for a long time now. Toei knows just how important this reveal is, and I want to go ahead and take a leap of faith to say that Gear 5 might just be the most epic transformation we have gotten in years. Regardless if it's deemed iconic or not when the dust clears, I have no doubt in my mind that Gear 5 will be a reminder to the world of just how great One Piece is. This truly is the year of One Piece, and I cannot wait to see where the anime is at towards the end of this year, because I'm sure as we enter the final stages for the story, the best has yet to come. That's pretty much it for me though. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to leave all your thoughts about One Piece's Wano arc in the comment section down below. Stay cool out there, and I will catch you all in the next video.